Hello and welcome to another episode of Cake Fight Presents The Making of Kaleidoscope. I'm writer, director, producer Paige Feldman, and this week, as every week, I'm taking you inside my process of making my debut feature film. We're going from idea to premiere in real time. So for the last few weeks, I've been seeing you way more often than once a week. I've been seeing you nearly every day with the exception of when I got COVID and just couldn't. I have been chronicling my process of writing the first draft of the script for Kaleidoscope. And I finished on Sunday the 9th. And while I know y'all are seeing this on Wednesday the 12th, right now in my world it is Sunday the 9th. I just finished writing the script 3 hours ago. And I am filming this video directly after filming the last one chronicling the writing of Kaleidoscope. And the reason that I'm filming it right now is because I want to show you exactly what I do after finishing a script. Join me, I'm going to tell you these 4 things that are essential to my process, and you're going to want to make sure to stick around to the end because the 4th one is probably the most important and the one the fewest number of people do. So let's roll those titles and I will tell you all about it. Before we jump into those 4 things, I gotta say that as much fun as I had picking up different music every day for the writing of Kaleidoscope, hearing this theme song again just puts me in such a good mood. It's like coming back home a little bit. I'm really glad to be back here doing this weekly on Wednesdays, doing deeper dives, and just back in the groove. It's great. No more chit chat, let's get into it. The first thing that I do when I finish a draft of a script is print it out. So there are a few reasons why the first thing I do after finishing a script, I print out a draft. First of all, writing a script is kind of an intangible thing. You have an idea, you put the words on the paper, it's the things that you're imagining and conjuring up. And the paper, in our case, is not literal paper, it's digital paper, it's words on a screen. And when you're done with the script, when you're finished with the draft, all you really do is close out the window and close the computer, and that's it. And you don't really get a sense of what you've accomplished. So what I like to do before I close the program and turn off the computer is print out the draft. And then I have a literal, physical, tangible reminder of what I've done. This is the first draft of Kaleidoscope. In my cover page, I'm holding it. And I can feel the heft of this 263 pages. And even if it's not 263 pages, and even if you're normal and writing 120 pages or 90 pages or 80 pages, or in the case of some of my TV writers, 30 pages, 45, 23, 60, 75, you have a physical thing that you can hold, a tangible reminder of what you can do, of what your words are, and what you've been putting your time into. It feels really good. And if you've never done this, I recommend it wholeheartedly to just feel the weight of your own script in your hands. Feel the weight of the work that you've done, the time that you've spent, the brain power you've put in. All of that is here on the page, the physical page. The other thing that this does is it prevents you from tweaking it. I love writing on the computer, but I love revising on paper. And I print this out. This is the thing that I'm going to be revising in the future. If I'm just going to start revising on the computer, changing other things, I'm going to have to print it out again. No. This is the draft that I've come up with. this is what I'm going to be revising off of after I do step 3, which you'll find out in just a bit. This is the thing that I made, and I'm really proud of it for all its flaws and for all the work I have to do. I wrote a script. All right, thing number 2 I do is I celebrate with a ritual. So my ritual of choice is getting a pedicure. That is something that I do after every major draft of a script that I write. I wasn't able to do it a lot, really at all, during the pandemic, and I was so looking forward to getting my second one post-vaccination today. But apparently the place that I went to has issues with their reservation system and has decided, instead of, honoring people who come in on their reservations, just assuming everyone's going to cancel and then making you wait for 45 minutes with your feet soaking in lukewarm water without so much as an apology. So my feet still look terrible, but I guess I did have a massage chair today. I'm gonna get a pedicure, though. I love a good celebration ritual, and as a writer especially, it's really important to mark those times when you actually did complete a step of the process, because for us, there is never really it's done. It's more just, it's good enough, and it has to be good enough for now so we can move on to the next step. So finding some way to celebrate, to honor yourself and honor the work that you've done, and not just by printing it out and holding it and feeling it, but by treating yourself, by giving yourself a present, giving yourself a little bit of love for all the hard work that you've done. I really encourage, if you don't have a ritual after you finish a draft of a script, when I say draft, I mean I'm gonna get a pedicure when I do finish this first revision too. Just like a little thing. Maybe you get a coffee, maybe you turn your phone off for a few hours if you don't want to spend any money, and you can just sit and not be beholden to anybody. Maybe it's that you go on a hike with your friend or by yourself, or you get to finally listen to that new podcast episode that you've been holding on while you've been finishing. My reward for myself for finishing production on How to Fall in Love the Hard Way was watching Ted Lasso. Because I knew that this was coming up and I didn't want to get 2 pedicures so close to each other. I did expect to get a pedicure by now, but I'm mad, guys. I'm really mad. I want my pedicure. So the third thing I do is I put the script away and take a break for at least 2 weeks. A break means that I don't look at this script. I don't read it. I don't talk about it. I don't think it. I don't touch the draft that I printed out. It does not exist. Forbidden, goes away. During this break, I can and often do work on other projects. I try to make sure that I'm not working on other writing projects during this break, because I want to keep those muscles fresh for when I go back to revise this script. But in this break, I'm going to be working on the audio edit of How to Fall in Love the Hard Way, and I'm also going to take some time to just read some things and catch up on some TV, catch up on some movies, and really relax. Now, this 2 weeks is a minimum, and I'm actually gonna be taking more than that. I have not had a break from writing since November 2020. And that is when I was editing the audio for the pilot of How to Fall in Love the Hard Way. And after that was over, I took a couple-week break, and then starting in December, started writing the rest of the series, and have been writing it, working on that since November of last year, of 2021, and then started writing Kaleidoscope, obviously, and outlining it. I've really just completely been consumed by writing for over a year. I need a bit of a breath. So I'm going to take off until Tuesday, February 1st, 23 days, which is about the same amount of time it took me to write this draft. That feels good to me. I have a new book that I bought, The Final Girl Support Group. It's a slasher book about survivors of slashers getting targeted by another slasher killer. I absolutely love horror. This is what is up top of my desk. I am going to go on a content binge and also do some audio editing. And then Tuesday, February 1st, I will pick this script back up. When I do pick it back up, I am going to want to have a plan for how I tackle the rewrite. And this is the fourth thing that I do. This is the most important of these four because the purpose of the break isn't to just pat yourself on the back and like bask in your amazingness. I mean, that is part of it, but it's not the real purpose. The real purpose is to be able to come back to the script with a fresh perspective so that you can rewrite it to your best ability with as much of an impartial view as you can possibly get. You want to forget this script. You want to be able to come back to it with the view of a stranger, of someone who's not quite sure what's happening, but who can look at it and say, all right, this is not working, but this could work, etc. While you want to forget, you also, at least I do when I'm writing, you know what works and what doesn't. You have kind of a sense of like what you might need to fix or tweak. This fourth thing is that before you put the script away and forget about it, before you celebrate it, you need to figure out what your next step is for your revisions. You need to create a revision plan. I am going to screen share with you right now and show you how I do that for me. I'm going to go back into trusty old Scrivener. Right here, I have a list of a ton of questions. I didn't number them, but over a page of questions that I wrote down as I was drafting this script. The purpose of writing all these questions down is, first of all, to give myself a place to put a bunch of thoughts that I might be having while I'm writing that might distract me from just getting the script down on paper. Having to sit and think about a plot question while you're writing is a surefire way to never get a draft done. Why are you revising while you're also writing? That's my question. If it works for you, it works for you though. And so don't take that as an insult or you're doing it wrong, because as long as you get something finished, you're fine. You're doing it right. But for me, I can't ponder those questions. So I write them down later to ponder later. Now that I have a list of all of these questions, I need to categorize them. I need to figure out what I am going to be working on first when I get back to my draft. Now, obviously, I already know the answer to this question for this draft and for me. But for the sake of showing you my process, I'm gonna go through these motions. So first of all, gonna just create a table. Here we're going to write theme. Here we're going to write questions. We go through all of these questions and categorize them, assign them a theme. Let's see what all these questions have to do with each other so we know what to focus on.
Like it or not, there is a moment meant for us, and now you made it, but I already played this. Not interested, open your eyes, let's get it done. Take my hand, just follow me. Shadow and me are one. Oh, oh, the sky is on fire. The lake has turned to a golden sun. Let's get it done, take my hand, just follow me. The shadow and me are one. Oh, oh, the sky is on fire. The lake has turned to a golden sun. Oh, oh, I'll never get tired.
got all of the themes of these questions that I have written down. I have Devon. Small questions and tweaks, so these are these are little things. Devon is Lee's boyfriend / Jonah's best friend character, and I've had a lot of trouble writing him and making decisions about what his whole deal is during this first draft. So specific questions about him and about how he's acting in particular, not how other people are reacting to him. Small questions or tweaks, like this: need to make sure to put up in earlier scenes that Jonah wears glasses in the present day, and incorporate Lee and Devon's bed having a motor. Do I add butterflies in the opening scene? These are the small things that don't really have much consequence within the story. It's just things that I need to make sure that the logic fits. Lee, again, character, main romantic lead, woman, things about her character and what she does and thinks. So this, like, Devon doesn't propose, Lee's thing is coming to terms with the fact that she needs to break up with him. This is, like, Devon's involved, but it's all about how Lee perceives it. Time loop. So this is a time loop movie. I have a few notes specifically about the time loop and things I want to change in it. About the rules and the relationships outside of Lee and Jonah in the time loop, because I have some cool ideas for how to work that. And Lee and Jonah's relationship, things that I want to add to strengthen it, and scenes that I want to create that I haven't created, that I maybe thought about too late, like Lee and Jonah choreograph a dance together and do it together in the real world too. Like a She's All That scenario. I just think it would be really fun to direct a dance scene. Then similarly, Jonah, all of the things about Jonah that I need to incorporate so that his reactions feel more real and I create a more well-rounded character. Zach, that's Jonah's brother. And then theme are things that are a little bit deeper than just character issues, but things about what I want to say within the world of the story. So I have a theme statement in scene 27, but it doesn't quite feel right to me. Jonah makes a statement early on about choosing your own consequences, and he doesn't take that advice. Or maybe I don't want him to take that advice. It's something to consider. So I have all of these. If you didn't make a list of running questions while you were writing, you can do what I'm about to do now, which is add to this spreadsheet, what are things that I know I don't like? So, Iris, who is a character who Devon is, it's supposed to be kind of a secondary romantic interest for Devon. Iris barely exists in this universe outside of when she is talking to Lee. Need to deepen, I can spell two correctly, deepen her and deepen correctly, hers and Devon's relationship. And then the coup de grace, length. This script is 263 pages long. So on and so on. If I had other things that I didn't already write down, I would just keep going and creating categories as I see fit. So from looking at this, what I see right now is that I have a lot of questions about characters and how they interact and their relationships. Because those questions are the most prevalent, and the thing that I like to do with my rewrites is tackle the biggest things first. I would like to probably, if I didn't have the length issue, I'd probably choose one relationship to focus on first. And the biggest relationship in the whole film is obviously Lee and Jonah, who are the two romantic leads of a romantic comedy. So I would go through on the first pass and just see, all right, what's tracking with their relationship, what's not, and really focus in on that. However, because this thing is 263 pages long, the first thing I need to do is figure out how to get it down to a more manageable level. Because what's the point of fixing, small questions and tweaks if those scenes are going to go away in order to get this thing down by more than half? Now I have a list of things that I want to fix, questions I want to answer. I know which one I want to start with. The script is 263 pages long. We'll highlight it in orange. just to add some lightness to it. So now I have my plan for when I come back on February 1st, and my plan is going to be tackling the length. Hey y'all, it is Paige straight from the editing room. So I do a terrible job of explaining the purpose of this list. I was exhausted from all of the writing and all of the previous video filming, and I just was not making sense. So here is the deal. It is obviously impossible to do a character pass without focusing on plot, or deal with length without also revising plot and character, or even just on a character pass, characters' lives are intertwined, or they should be, so you can't just focus on one character and not on all of the others. The purpose of making this list is, first of all, to organize your thoughts while they're still warm and still fresh in your mind before you go off and relax and forget everything. Then when you come back all rested and refreshed and you read your script again, you can do so and start revising with intention. The organization part is to create a funnel of big picture items to little picture items. And by biggest, I don't mean most problematic. I mean the issue that's going to affect your script at a base level the most. So for me right now, it's length. Length is going to affect every single aspect of the film. These smaller elements, the ones that are further down in the funnel, are all things that end up serving the bigger elements of the story. So Lee and Devon's relationship is a foil to Lee and Jonah's. So when I go through a pass where I'm gonna think, all right, let's make sure that Lee and Jonah's relationship progression feels great, and that's my main focus, I'm going to find ways to contrast Lee and Jonah's relationship with Lee and Devon's. And in doing so, I'm gonna have to refer back to the Devon questions, and so it'll be nice to have them in a nice little organized spot. But that's the deal with this list and this method of organization. It's to organize your thoughts while they're still warm and fresh in your mind, and also to ensure that you have a sense of direction for what needs to happen in your series of revisions. Creating a system so that you're ready to hit the ground running when you start revising. I'm doing a whole, this script is 263 pages long, But I'm not worried, because I have a method for figuring out how to cut down a script, or if you need to add something to a script, what you need to add. This crazy spreadsheet method that I developed when I was a development executive. And I will show you all that on Wednesday, February 9th. But until then, we're just gonna be chilling for the next few weeks. Not really doing any writing. I'm just gonna be sitting, relaxing, enjoying the time off, basking in the fruits of my labor. I'm definitely gonna be back next week with another video about the making of Kaleidoscope. And in this one, I'm gonna tell you all about what I hope to accomplish, where I hope that we're gonna be with the making of this film by the end of 2022. So thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're down for this journey, you're gonna hit the subscribe button now. And until then, see you next week. It's real. I did it. I wrote a first draft.